Francesco Cavalli was an Italian composer of the early Baroque period. His real name was Pietro Francesco Caletti-Bruni, but he is better known by that of Cavalli, the name of his patron Federico Cavalli, a Venetian nobleman. Life. Cavalli was born at Crema, Lombardy. He became a singer at St. Mark's Basilica in Venice in 1616, where he had the opportunity to work under the tutorship of Claudio Monteverdi. He became second organist in 1639, first organist in 1665, and in 1668 maestro di cappella. He is chiefly remembered for his operas. He began to write for the stage in 1639, soon after the first public opera house opened in Venice, the Teatro San Cassiano. He established so great a reputation that he was summoned to Paris from 1660 until 1662, producing his Ercole Amanti. He died in Venice at the age of 73. Music and influence. Cavalli was the most influential composer in the rising genre of public opera in mid-17th century Venice. Unlike Monteverdi's early operas, scored for the extravagant court orchestra of Mantua, Cavalli's operas make use of a small orchestra of strings and basso continuo to meet the limitations of public opera houses. Cavalli introduced melodious arias into his music and popular types into his libretti. His operas have a remarkably strong sense of dramatic effect as well as a great musical facility, and a grotesque humor which was characteristic of Italian grand opera down to the death of Alessandro Scarlatti. Cavalli's operas provide the only example of a continuous musical development of a single composer in a single genre from the early to the late 17th century in Venice. Only a few operas by others survive. The development is particularly interesting to Scalas because opera was still quite a new medium when Cavalli began working, and had matured into a popular public spectacle by the end of his career. Cavalli wrote 41 operas, 27 of which are still extant, being preserved in the Biblioteca Nazionale Marciana in Venice. Copies of some of the operas also exist in other locations. In addition, 2 last operas, which are clearly attributed to him, are lost, as well as 12 other operas that have been attributed to him, though the music is lost and attribution impossible to prove. In addition to operas, Cavalli wrote settings of the Magnificat in the grand Venetian polychoral style, settings of the Marian antiphons, other sacred music in a more conservative manner, notably a Requiem Mass in 8 parts, probably intended for his own funeral, and some instrumental music. Performance history. Modern performances. Cavalli's music was revived in the 20th century. The Glyndebourne production of Lo Callisto is an example. The discography is extensive and Cavalli has featured in BBC Radio 3's Composer of the Week series.